Hey everybody, this is Supercar Ron. I am in New York at Monticello Motor Club and I am about to unveil my brand new hypercar. We're in.
This car, I don't need to tell you, is unlike any other car out there.
Yep.
There's nothing like it. So the operation of the car really needs to be managed like a Formula One car.
Ron, wake up, wake up. Wake up, we're in Monticello.
Mono what?
Monticello, we made it, the racetrack.
Like France?
No, we're in New York.
Oh, we're in New, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, are we here?
The Aston Martin team is waiting for us.
Wait, what?
Your new car.
Oh yeah.
Let's go.
Let's freaking go.
So I'm gonna take you out in DB12.
Cool.
And we're gonna do some orientation on the car and on the track, just so you get familiar with it.
Yep.
And then after that, then we're gonna do the reveal.
Okay.
And then after that, we'll get you in the Valkyrie. And then baby steps again. We're just gonna drive on the property in the Valkyrie.
Yep.
So you get a sense of throttle response, brakes, steering, and all that kind of stuff. So a little 5 minutes around the property.
Cool.
Just get a sense of it. Then we'll go to pit lane. And then we'll switch places. And then I'll drive.
Yep.
You're a passenger, or Michaela will drive, depending on the seating position. And then him will go out and do a couple of laps, just get some heat into the tires, warm it up. So you've got a good sense of what it's like to be in a Valkyrie on the track. And then you drive. And then again, baby steps. It's not about fast laps. It's really about you.
I just want to feel the car.
Getting familiar with the car, what it's like to operate, how it operates, what it feels like.
Am I going to be able to drive it in the snow?
Yeah,
Like,
if you want to put some winter tires on the snow tires,
I'm
absolutely.
gonna throw some snow tires on it, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty epic.
Please do.
Yeah. Poppy likey. We can't reveal it just yet though. We're gonna go upstairs. They're gonna tease me for a while. We're even gonna go race on the track, I think, for a minute before I'm even allowed to see the car. So this is it though.
Oh yeah, how you feeling? Excited?
Oh, I'm so stoked.
It's like Christmas morning, but
It's
way
like
better.
Christmas. Yes, my wife doesn't need to buy me anything this year because I did it myself. We are with Terrence, who's the world's greatest race car driver, and we are about to jump in is this a DB12? Terrence, is this a DB12?
DB12, yeah.
This is a DB12 emerald green over, you know, kind of a dark tan interior, gorgeous car. We're gonna go do our first hot laps around Monticello Motor Club here. And he wants me to learn the track a little bit before I head out in my new car.
All right, hey, this is Ron's flying lap. He's looking confident. He's looking good.
Up into the carousel. I think he needs a faster car.
Okay, who's pulling it off? Gabe, you go pull it off. All right, yeah.
Is there a strategy
Let's
here?
go. No, I think you just kind of yank it and pull it. Just don't break the car. You know what I mean?
Do you want to hold on to this while they're pulling it off?
Oh, is this the steering wheel? Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at this. This is my new steering wheel. Listen, how many of your cars come with the steering wheel that detaches from the car? This is a unique experience. You guys ready? All right, let's go. Holy cow. All right, now come here, check this out. So look, the button's right underneath here for the door. Now, in order to get in, you see how small this space is? You actually have to hit that to open up the roof. So it's like a two-piece door. So they said you need to get on the door sill right here, swing one leg in. I'm gonna swing the other. I'm gonna slide down in, do some tricep exercises, and we're in. I just slid into my brand new Valkyrie SPIDER. This is the first one in the country, right?
It is.
Oh.
It's the first one.
This is unbelievable. Is there any way you could walk us through kind of some of the features of this car before we fire it up and take it out onto the track?
I would love to take you through all the technical details of this car. Designed by Adrian Newey and Aston Martin, it has a single purpose, and that's to crush lap times on tracks. Single purpose. Adrian Newey is one of the most successful F1 designers. He's got 200 race wins, he's got 12 constructor titles and 13 driver championships under his belt. No one knows aerodynamics better than this guy. So let me take you through some of the technical stuff.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So starting at the front of the car, I'm going to take you through something very important here. Every Aston Martin in the last 111 years has worn a metal badge, and the Valkyrie is no exception. The difference being, this is the lightest badge that's ever adorned an Aston Martin. It is actually 99.4% lighter than previous badges. It's 40 microns thick. It's less than a hair. It's about half that of a hair, and it's actually metal. And it's chemically etched. And then the last thing they do before they lacquer the car, they take it out of a refrigerator, and they've got just a couple of minutes to place it before they lacquer it over, because if it sits in your hand for a couple of minutes, because it's so thin with the heat of your hand, the actual metal badge starts to curl up. So let's move down here, and if you want to just squat down a little bit, you can look at the wing here. This is a 4-element wing, just like Formula One.
Yeah.
And the difference is this is an active aero wing. These two elements back here are active. In fact, the entire platform is hydraulically operated. So we've got the hydraulic pump that we use on this was sourced from an Apache helicopter gunship. Is the only hydraulic pump that can supply 220 bar pressure, which is about 3,125 PSI. Now, most time when you talk about aero elements, is to increase downforce. Valkyrie is very different. It actually creates too much downforce. The active aero is to bleed downforce off the car. So at 137 miles an hour, we're already generating over 2,425 pounds of downforce. This exceeds the sidewall capabilities of this car. So we actually have to bleed downforce off at 137 miles an hour. No other car does it. We have an air intake. So this is the air intake for the cabin. We speed this up, we slow it down, we heat it, we cool it, and then there's also a camera right here. And we have a full body lift system. The car rides at 100 millimeters. We can raise it to 130 millimeters to get over speed bumps, any road furniture and stuff like that. And then there's a little rubber bung right here. And when you remove that rubber bung, this is one of the points where we lift the car. Again, because of the design of this car is very much similar to what you'd find in Formula One. Those two jacks over there called Kamasi lifts. This is what we need to lift the car. So we connect one to the front, we connect one to the rear, we lift it up, we remove the wheels, and there's these special mounts get mounted onto it to support the car, and that's how it gets worked on. The headlights are polycarbonate exterior, and then we get a carbon fiber interior. All the internal pieces right here are 3D printed, either metal or plastic. And then the glass lens itself is also crystal, not glass. And the reason why they chose crystal is because all glass has a tint and little imperfections in it, whereas crystal doesn't have those imperfections. The weight of this headlight is actually the weight of all the lights on the Valkyrie are less than one headlight on a Vantage.
Really?
Again, optimized weight reduction. This is the first thing that the air hits as it goes through here. It goes through here. The Nebula, the original design Nebula didn't have this cut out, but further development that Adrian did, he removed this section here to get the front wing to work even better. So now we have exposed suspension components. The suspension setup is just like an F1 as you would expect with Adrian. It's a push rod system. And instead of running typical springs that you'd see on cars, we're running torsion bars. Because it's a road bar, we have to run a two-stage torsion bar system, because you can imagine the car generates 2,400 pounds of downforce. The spring rate to support that would be crazy high. It sits about here, and then we also have a passive dampener system which sits underneath the dashboard right here, and we also have a front sway bar with very short drop links. So in urban mode, it's actually incredibly comfortable, much like a GT car. The wheels, pretty unique as well. We have a center lock system here. It actually takes about 1,000 Newton meters to put it on or remove it off. The wrench to take this off is about this tall,
Is it
6 foot tall.
Yeah.
And then the brakes, we have 6 piston brakes, front and rear. And again, they're all optimized for reducing weight. So they've all been machined to reduce weight and mass on the car. Another interesting feature right here, if you look right here, you can see a turn signal.
Yep.
This is one of the smallest turn signals in the world. There's 2 LED bulbs here, but the bulbs are located somewhere else in the body because we can't get the bulbs to fit where the lens is here. So we actually direct the light through 3 different angles, like a periscope on a submarine. We've got mirrors to reflect it, so we can optimize having the smallest lens possible here. These are your side mirrors to camera. A lot of people think this is utilized for single-purpose aerodynamics, but actually for homologation purposes, we couldn't get a mirror on the side here. It would have blocked the driver's view. So the side benefit is that we have now an optimized aerodynamic side camera, which meets homologation purposes as well. Aero, unlike a Formula One car, is split into two sections. Dirty air, which is from tire wake and turbulence, is on the outside of the car here. Clean air through the tunnel underneath the car and through the rads here. So the dirty air is pulled out and we run it down the side of the car and it creates a curtain and a wall. What we want to do is seal the floor off, right? Because the majority of the aerodynamics is generated underneath the car. So this wall, this turbulent wall of air helps seal the car off, which generates more downforce, right? The clean air, which has been aided by the suspension mounts, right? Because they're all aero components as well. Clean air goes underneath the car, and there's turning vanes underneath the car as well to help direct it. And this is the intake here for the radiator. Now what's interesting here is this radiator is on the left-hand side, cooling the engine. On the right-hand side, it cools other things like the HV battery coolant, AC, and all that kind of other stuff. The wiper blade was designed by a company in the US that worked on the shuttle program, and they did wipers for the shuttle. So they help us design the space shuttle, yeah. So true aerospace engineering in this car. The car is limited to 220 miles an hour, and for homologation purposes, the wipers have to work at 220 miles an hour. You can't just put wipers on that work at 150 miles an hour, because the car can do 220. So when we engineered it and we designed it, the wiper blade itself only weighs 594 grams. We actually took it to a tunnel in Switzerland where they test the high-speed trains. Mm-hmm. And we put it in the tunnel and we blew wind at it at about 220, 230 miles an hour. Then we threw water at it and then we got the wiper to work. So we verified this wiper does work at 220 miles an hour in
when
rain.
I'm going 220 and I got the wipers on, in
it
the
works.
rain, I will be so happy.
You will be incredibly happy.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll be incredibly happy. This car obviously does wear a license plate, so you can drive it on the road. So if you ever go shopping for groceries, this is where you're going to put your groceries. This is the only storage available on this car. And again, a packaging challenge. This is what is most remarkable about this car, is the engineering behind the packaging to get it to meet homologation purposes and to pass all that kind of stuff. So in here, we've got your tire sealant, there's a tow hook in here, and then we have a pump, and this is your HV battery disconnect right here.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah,
Where
exactly.
the golf clubs go. Oh, I'm going to do like a roof mount thing, you know, like with the roof box.
You have 2 reservoirs for your brake fluid. As you can see, not a lot of room for your fingers to open it up here. So what they did is they came up with a nice little idea so they can just crack it open easily and access it to top up your brake fluid. Naturally aspirated V12, 6.5 litre, 48 valves. This engine actually has 2 spark plugs, 2 fuel injectors per cylinder, 13.5 compression ratio to 1. It revs to 11,100 RPM, 1,160 horsepower. It has a Rimac battery, 1.3 kilowatts. It has an electric motor, which is situated between the engine and the gearbox. And that does 2 things. One, it synchronizes the engine and the gearbox for changing gears. It's a dog gearbox. So it's constantly watching the dog windows to make sure it syncs perfectly for the gearbox. It's a 7-speed Ricardo, manual, automated gearbox with a multi-plate clutch. The electric motor provides 206 pound-feet of torque, which you have a button on the steering wheel which you can press and you can have access to it anytime you want. Moving around to the back of the car, this is the third aero element, which we can bleed aero off. The two main ones are underneath in the tunnel of the car. Actually, if you look down here, you'll see them open through the tunnels. They're your main aero levers for bleeding downforce off, right there. This section here is also an element for bleeding aero. Our exhaust system is underneath here. I think this is the Inconel exhaust system. The satin finish on here is called Cerakote. It's called Cerakote. This is used, it's a military application and stuff, so you use it on missiles and rockets and stuff like that. And then the exhaust system here actually is a blown diffuser system. And we needed to add this additional metal piece here because we found in testing that it was melting and deforming metal number plates.
Wow.
Because of the heat that was generated underneath here. And then again, the lights at the back here, we've got our blade lights, which we launched back when it was the Vulcan back in 2014. And then we have more aero out here at the back of the car. So again, this is kind of cleaning up the aero from the turbulence from the rear wheels, where it blends into the back of the car. So a lot going on with this car. Any questions? There is a very specific procedure for starting the car, and we'll go through that when we get in the car. And this is your neutral button, and then you also have launch control if you want to have fun with launch control and 1,160 horsepower.
All right, here we go.
It's like you've done that before.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hand you
That footbox is tight. Okay, hand me the steering wheel.
Yep.
All right.
And you can slide that on any direction, doesn't matter.
Right on.
Okay,
And
there
then
we
set
go.
it to center, it'll lock up.
Oh, it locks. There it locks. Okay. It is amazing. Can I close this door and just see how it feels?
Yep.
Do we? Yeah. Nice. Yeah. Well, I am going to drive this out on the street. We have to figure out how to get snow tires on it because I'm going to drive it in the snow.
If you'd like, they're available.
We do have, absolutely, yeah.
It's already snowing in Utah, so we're just going to put them on. In fact, we should just have them put on before it's shipped, like out there.
We can make that happen. Available for that. He can in fact.
Let's go.
Aston Martin.
You guys are the best.
Terrence, walk me through startup procedure. What?
So
Yeah.
you want to fire the car up?
Yeah, let's fire it up.
Okay.
Let's fire it up.
So feet off the pedals.
Yep, feet off the pedals.
Press the button. Just touch it.
This
Start
one?
button. Yeah. Press and release.
So no feet on the
No
pedals.
feet on the pedals.
Okay, we're gonna hit start.
Yep.
Okay.
So this wakes up the 12-volt battery, which connects the HV battery. The HV battery is actually what starts the motor.
Okay.
Right. Now, foot on the brake,
Yep.
and then press and start it. And it's going to spin the engine until
Do
we
I
get
hold
more.
it? Do I hold it? Or do I
No, just press it. It's going to spin the engine. So pressure, and then it'll fire up. Now the engine's running. So the exhaust valves are closed right now to keep, obviously, the decibels.
Yeah.
And you have limited amount of RPM right now on the
The exhaust valves are closed, and it's still that loud.
This is the quiet mode.
The exhaust valves are closed.
The exhaust valves are closed right now.
And then when you're driving, if the engine oil gets a little bit too hot, this will start winding back to thermally protect the engine.
Okay.
Right?
Bro, crazy.
You see the signal right down here, Chase? This is going to go all the way to almost 12,000 RPMs that I'm able and capable of using. I mean, 11,500 RPMs, it's like almost like my first bolt bike, you know, my first street bike. It just, I mean, I've never had a car that revs that high before, and it's a V12. This is the Valkyrie key. So this is the Valkyrie key in this like carbon case. So it's got to be in the car. So feet off the pedals. This is your startup procedure. You hit start, stop once. Ready? Ready for this? Okay, so then you let everything kind of wake up a little bit. You'll see the screen kind of fire up. We're gonna hit it one more time. So that kind of gets the, you hear that kind of prepping to start. Okay, so we're gonna put our foot on the brake. We're gonna hit start one more time, and that should fire up the motor. tank.
12-gallon
There's
tank.
a 12-gallon tank.
It's like almost as big as a RAV4.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the RAV4 has it on the mile per gallon kind of stuff.
Bro, you look good in there.
Dude, I agree with you.
You look like you were
Yeah.
born to be in that seat.
Look, there's humility, then there's just knowing how good you look, and sometimes those things aren't, mutually exclusive. I have never felt a car carry this much speed through anything. I mean, it is like, he's like, I'm not even pushing it. I mean, how fast? You were like 60%?
I wasn't even 60%. I was 55% maybe. I mean, there were a couple of times we win.
You got on it on
I
that
got on
straight.
it, but I was barely scratching the surface, essentially.
All right, guys, very first laps in my Valkyrie Spider. He's been in this a lot and he still struggles to get in, so that actually makes me feel a little bit better. And I'm ready to fire. Ready? Here we go. Like a little shaky. This is, I'm not sure how to describe it. Like, it's crazy that Aston Martin made this car. Like, it is that insane. Like, I pinned it like 2 times, and I'm like, I'm scared. I literally was saying that. I'm like, okay, this is scary. Like, scary speeds through these turns and everywhere else. I'm like sweaty. Cause not because it was hot inside the car, but because literally I'm like, one, it's like a really hyper exotic car, but 2, it is insanely fast. I was on the highest traction control setting on the softest suspension, and I'm giving it the beans on like that back straight, dude. And I'm like, okay, I'm at like 160, 165, and I'm going around that turn on the back. I'm like, you could do 190 on this, like 180, 190 in that range. If I knew the track better, I could give it more, but I just don't know the track. That was one of the most incredible driving experiences that I've ever had in my life, and I've driven some really impressive cars. I'm not even sure how to describe it, guys, but like raw, scary, beautiful. What are all the amazing things I can say? I cannot believe Aston Martin produced this car. Let me just put it that way. They make a Vantage, they make a Vanquish, and they make this. Like, how does this make sense at all? You know what I mean? But I am so glad that they did, and I'm so glad that I am the steward of the very first Valkyrie Spider in the United States. This is VIN number 22. It's the first Valkyrie Spider here in the United States of America. God bless America and the UK, apparently. So VIN number 22 is actually really meaningful to me. It's not the first car that I've had with VIN number 22, believe it or not. I had a 550 Barchetta from Ferrari that was VIN number 22 that Gabe, my homie at Curated, sold me, and then took back and probably lost some money on. So
whatever we got to do for you, man. No problem.
VIN number 22 is really meaningful, though. When I was a kid, I was growing up in San Jose, California, and I was a hardcore San Francisco Giants fan. And my hero of all the baseball players was Will Clark, Will the Thrill, for those of you guys that remember him. And his number was 22. His player number was 22. And so 22, VIN number 22, when I heard it was number 22, legitimately, it was like kind of meant to be. I'm like, okay, this is the car for me. So I'm excited to have it in the garage.